We've got this third round of EU funding coming at us this time next year, and before then we need to make sure our ducks are in a row as to how we're going to spend 593 million euros, let alone what our local enterprise partnership ends up in getting in UK government funding to match it. So it's a large amount of public sector funding. There's been a track record of debate in the county in the Isles of Scilly as to whether that's had as much impact as it could do in the previous two rounds of funding. So this debate is very timely to make sure that everybody is on board with what's happening, to discuss the priorities and to make sure that we really use this third round of EU funding, which will undoubtedly be our last go at this. My holiday-let visitors are already commenting to me and in the visitor books about too many wind turbines and solar panels. How long before Cornwall Council realise the damage to our tourist industry caused by their lack of strategy in approving renewable energy planning applications? Chris.
Okay, so first of all I would hope that all of Mr Dunn's properties are fitted with low energy, light bulbs, super insulated, etc. But then I'd actually say that if we want to live in a civilised society, we all produce waste, we all consume energy, and if the tourists want the lights on, then guess what? We need some form of energy generation. We're lucky as a county, we don't have any nuclear, we don't have any oil or coal powered fire stations. There used to be one in the mouth of the Hale estuary, and I kind of wonder about the regeneration of Hale and the tourism in St Ives. Would that have gone so well if that had been there? So we do need to generate our own energy, and especially at a time when we're seeing conflict with, Russia on the horizon. What happens to our gas? Are we really going to be held over a barrel in order for that? And how would that then affect our tourist industry? But we do all want our energy. We all want our waste taken away and treated, and we all want to live where there's no sewage. I live next to a sewage treatment works. I campaigned hard for it. I'm a YIMBY, yes, in my backyard. I'm quite happy with that. And I think that's what we need to look at. Now, should there be a better strategy? There is an issue of reaching a capacity. And I think you can do that by saying, drawing a line around a community and saying, if that community has the equivalent energy that it would consume. So if a village or whatever consumes 2 megawatts of energy, then draw a map around that and say, you've done it, well done. Okay. And then go to the next village. So
more of a localism agenda.
Yeah, but also, I think, underpinning this, there's a thing about driving the economy, the bigger picture. If we want a slice of these new technologies going forwards, Germany has the wind industry. We've got far better wind, and we've got no industry here. If we want slices of this new 21st century technologies and development, that's where we need to play. And we need to be proud about it as well.
Okay. Oliver, do you have a different view?
No, but I'm very, very willing to add to what Chris has said. I was just thinking, actually, if you had in your back garden, you had a box that was a metre by a metre by a metre, and a friend came to see you, and you took him into the back garden and said, look at this box. It's an amazing box. It's absolutely amazing. It generates all the electricity for my house and for the house next door and for the house next door to that. And do you know, I don't have to pay anything for the fuel for it. And not only do I not have to pay anything for the fuel for it, actually it doesn't pollute either. Your friend would say, wow, what a fantastic thing that is. But if you say, oh, and by the way, we're just about to put a tower on it with some blades on it, you're then saying, well, the friend is going to say, oh, no, I'm not going to come and see you if that's the case. Now, I think, you might think that's flippant, but I think the point here is that so much of this is about emotion and perception. If we say to the rest of the world, we have a fantastic industry here, it's doing amazing things for us, these turbines are beautiful, I think they're beautiful, these turbines are beautiful, they generate electricity for us with fuel that is free, then our tourists visiting Cornwall will agree with us. It's because people say to tourists coming in, look, isn't that horrible? We've got a turbine there and a turbine there. Isn't that grim? They'll say, yes, it is, isn't it? So I think it's an issue of perception.
Andrew, Isles of Scilly feel the same way?
Can you hear me, or do I need to move this microphone? Thank you. Well, we don't have any wind turbines on the Isles of Scilly yet. but we won't debate that now. I think the two answers we've had are compelling, but they're answered in the context of individual providers and individual communities, and I'd have no argument with that. But if you take another context, and perhaps the national context, very few would disagree with the concept of lower cost energy. People require that. Some people who are struggling require lower price heating and lighting, and I think most of us would support that if it was possible. And if you look at our industries in Cornwall, they're energy intensive. The land-based industries and the supply chain, tourism would all like lower energy costs. And I think most people would agree that renewable energy in its current form actually isn't really free. It's actually quite a high cost to generating that energy. Now, we need to think about that, but my main point is one stage further, because actually, if it is a high cost, and that currently that's acknowledged, who's going to pay that cost? And it seems to me curious that any government would ask the poorest in society to subsidise actually the wealthier in society who tend to be involved in these schemes through their energy bills. So I think there's a disconnect there, but I think that's a government thing, and it's a much bigger picture than just Cornwall.
And Thelma, does the construction industry have a view on this?
Well, yes, I mean, I have a personal view, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
My surname is Sorensen, there's a clue there. I've been going to Denmark for many years. I can go back 30, 40 years without telling how old I am. But I've got great friends on a beautiful offshore island off the west coast of Denmark. Now, they've actually been doing this for a very long time. And on that island, they've had wind farms. And the people are so proud of them. They own it. They own the energy that's produced. They show it off with pride. They export it. They get very, very cheap energy on the island. And I think we're in a position of catch-up in a rather big way. We've got to catch up with what other people have been doing for years.